Morning, guys. It's Jen. It's Monday, and I promised you guys a recap of TED. Um, but before I do, I just wanted to personally thank everyone who has been really patient with me, including especially the four girls at the site who have seen me sort of fall off the map. Um, So, Lee and Morgan and Ria and Suzanne, thank you. And thank you so much for your support and all of your tweeting about TED Detroit, and mostly for pushing me to do this recap because um, it's just a really big thing to process. So, having to recap it in a couple minutes on YouTube is a challenge, but I'm going to do it. Um, okay, so I think everyone kept asking me that day if it was what I had expected, and the awesome thing about production is you're usually so busy sort of running with the egg in the spoon that you don't really have time to expect anything. So everything is a surprise, and it definitely was. Most of them for the good. And yeah, it was just a really emotional, inspiring, powerful day. And I think, it's pretty easy, and there were actually a couple people who articulated this to me. It's pretty easy. We've all been to conferences and things that just get you really sort of revved up and excited, and then they sort of disappear afterward, and nothing really comes from them. Um, but the emphasis at TED is making the connections and then moving it forward. It's supposed to not be a sort of cure-all event. It's supposed to just be an impetus for other things. And it was a really busy day, so we didn't have as much time for networking as I had hoped. But I personally met all the people that I wanted to meet, so I'm good. um, so I guess the biggest takeaway for me on that note about TED is it sort of uncovers this, what I like to call the third group. I'm a writer who works in marketing, and so I think Max is going to join us. He's coming up the stairs. Um, and so to be a sort of a person who exists in both your right and left brain and is comfortable in both places, sometimes you feel that you don't quite fit in either group, and it can be sort of... Hey,
Can I take my coat off?
Yes, we can take your coat off. And so what I really found at TED is because of the fact that it's all about being inventive and having new ideas, but you also have to have actually, done some of those things. You can't just have the ideas in order to either attend or speak.
Mommy, I love you.
I love you too. We planned that. So he's gonna go build a Play-Doh village. It's quite the idea, boy. So anyway, what am I trying to say? Yes, there are people who have the ideas when you're in your 20s, and they're sort of like your bohemian friends, and they don't bathe much and they don't eat much, and they sort of hate the other part of their counterparts who finished school when they were 21 and started buying their first suit then, and there's sort of that whole sellout stereotype, and then as you get older, you just get to see like all these groups I don't know, start to connect and do really cool things together. There's certainly a need, I think we could all argue, for both the sort of creatives and the doers. But then there's this third group, like I said, that just seems to be all of those things. They're not afraid of commerce. They're not afraid of, God forbid, profiting off of their awesome ideas. And they do that. And so, yeah, that's sort of, I think, the crowd that TED sort of teases out of the group and gets them together and gets them to start collaborating. And so that was really just fun to see that many people. You'd sort of lean down and read their name tag and see where they were from, and just find out all the cool things. One lady, she owns her own feng shui. Am I saying that right, Ria? Feng shui business to some of the big, movie producers in Detroit. So, yeah. Whew. You tell I'm still processing it. So that was TED. And, I think we produced it in like 2 months. And so I really look forward to the next one too when we have a little more time. And, you know, we've done it once, so now we know. Okay, so on with the film. All of you guys who are working on that, I met a lot of interesting people in film this week too, so good things there. All right, we have to go outside. All right, you guys, everyone who's writing today, suckers. I'll see you guys around.